is really disgusting. So for me, I am doing the work that I do, working in the community, for my community, because I want to uplift, inspire the next generation.
Thank you. Sister Jamila, please.
Hi, sir. I'm Sister Jamila. We just set up a new organisation called From Hood to Good. So basically, we're dealing with things in the community, doing things with like young people, social media, things that affect our youth. We're also doing workshops on how to become a man, doing things like talking about the road, the hood. We do things like yesterday we had one of our sessions where we had the boys talk about the things that they want to do in the workshop, how we're going to build and how we're going to work together with other organisations. So basically that's what we do.
Thank you.
Yes, greetings. My name is Brother Konsu, known to some as Professor Konsu. My day job, I work, so we know PRUs, right? So I work when students from PRUs are excluded, they come to my school. All right, so that's the extreme drug dependence, foster care, etc., etc. So on a daily basis, I'm interacting with our young people in the extremes of their behavior. And my other day job and my night job and my in-between job is one of the directors of Manhood Academy also. Before that, I worked with my beloved brothers, Brother Pablo, Brother Neil, as part of Origin Rites of Passage before Manhood Academy was founded. Manhood Academy actually was founded from the guidance of Origin Rites of Passage. So it's an ideal model of how we can work together in the community and build together. So those are the two things I do. And yeah, I'll leave it at that for now.
Please.
Greetings everyone. First of all, I'd like to congratulate and thank you for calling this very important meeting. It feels as if it's well overdue.
Yes,
my name is Brother Pablo. I'm speaking tonight in the capacity of New Initiatives and the Origin Rites of Passage program. I'm also the director of the Black Cultural Archives in Brixton. Hopefully some of you will have known about both the Black Cultural Archives and also of New Initiatives. New Initiatives, as I say, is a rites of passage organisation. It's inspired by traditional African rites of passage. We sit within the suite of programs at New Initiatives. We work very closely with a sister organisation, a sister program called Akua. And at Stockwell, we are part of a group, a new organisation called The Village, which is a number of organisations that have come together at building that some of you may be familiar with, at 55 Willington Road in Stockwell. Possibly best to leave it there for now and take questions later.
Thank you, Brother. Steve?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can hear me, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, cool. My name's Steve Graham. I'm the guy from EP Global. I do like mentoring the community. I used to do a lot of stuff in schools, colleges, did a couple of talks in universities, especially to people doing like criminology because of my past. Because of my past life. What caused me passionate to what I do, which is mentoring, I do martial arts in the community, I do quite a lot of things. I do filmmaking, I made like 40 documentaries, all self-funded. I kind of believe doing that things ourselves. So I go back myself, I made 40 documentaries, I traveled to places like Palestine, Jordan, Egypt, Morocco, filming black history, talking of study of culture. I do also write books. I've got a book, I'm a gun, I've got author books coming out. I've got young people writing. I do a lot of things just to try to help the people, but my mentor is one of the main things I do in the community. And I have 2 studios where I do music with one, a portable studio and a normal studio, a bass studio and a portable studio. I take it to the communities. I bring to I'm in the house here, so I bring like Stoney Church, so I can bring it anywhere still. And I have a couple of laptops, so I give around to young people, for different young people to use to do, so they can actually develop their skills in what they want to do regarding to filmmaking. So I teach them basics and to watch YouTube and follow the rest. The reason why I got involved in doing what I'm doing is because my personal life, like I said, I grew up on the streets at the age of 15. I've been to 4 high schools, South Hall, was international drug trafficking, and by the time I was 22, I did a big stretch in Jamaica prison for violent crimes. I was a part of the street culture. I don't believe in gangs. So technically, that's why I do what I do. Because I know personal experience. I know to me, there's more than one factor that forces people to do what they do. It's not just one thing. There's many things that force people to do what we're doing. So for me, I try to give different avenues, different outlets for people to get involved.
So brothers and sisters, we're here to debate today and hopefully offer solutions as to how we can arrest this culture that is taking place in our community that's seeing our young brothers stab and kill each other. Now, what's been bothering me throughout the entire week is all of our young brothers who are involved in the kind of activity that's taking place, they all have parents. Do they? So if every young brother and sister on the street who is getting caught up in that which is leading to the loss of precious life that can never be returned, then is it a governmental conspiracy an issue? Is it a lack of parenting on the side of us who have children? Or is it a lack of us not structuring a functional community wherein our young people can be educated and raised? What is the source of the problem? Because if we don't go to the origin of the problem, then we're not going to leave here with any solutions. We can leave here with temporary measures, but to actually find a solution where we can fix something that's broken and monitor the signs of it ever being broken again, then we have to deal with some home truths. Don't you think? And sometimes I hear, and the reason why I asked everybody to highlight why they're involved in intervention work where our young people are concerned is because there are many people involved in intervention work. Some, I believe, sincere and others not so sincere. And just like the government is involved in the condition in which we find ourselves, the government will also involve themselves in what is known as a makeshift solution. And they will insert people among us who so-called has solutions, but their job is to make the problem worse and keep it going. So it's important that if our young people can't walk from Tulse Hill to Brixton without another member of their family asking them where they're from, then how can any of us who claim to be interventionists offer them guidance if we first and foremost are not in unity on a panel? Are you hearing me? So if those who claim to be in leadership and who claim to have problems of solutions don't want to sit with anybody else, then that's the reason why our children are in the condition that they're in. Because many of us are spiritual gangsters. Are you hearing me? And spiritual divided persons. So we want to deal with home truths. I don't want us to become too emotional today. I want us to maintain our composure, even if what we're saying is hard for somebody else to hear. But I would like for us to respect everybody in the room and know that this is a place of safety and a place where we must put whatever difference we have aside and rise above it so that we can try to produce some solutions that our young brothers and sisters may ultimately be the beneficiaries of. So, panelists, what does parenting or the lack of it have to do with the current climate that we find on our streets today? In no particular order, any of you want to answer?
I don't think 100% we can blame the parents, because there's homes where the parents do a lot to keep their kids in order. You need to remember, parents is one, teachers, and society is the next.
Can I just stop you a sec? I'm not saying that we're blaming the parents. Mm-hmm. I'm asking the question, what role does parenting or the lack thereof have or has contributed to the current climate in our community?
I think a lot of parents are oblivious
Okay.
because you see your kids doing certain things and you act like it's not your child. And some of us are in denial. When people tell us about our kids, we don't want to listen. So I think sometimes as well, the parents need to challenge their kids and they need to look around and look at what their child's behaviour and see certain things and correct it from before it's too late. Because a lot of parents say, "Oh, I saw him getting bad, but I had to. I didn't think it was going to escalate to what it was." So a lot of parents need to take control before other people start making our youth take control. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Brother Pablo.
Parenting's key. I mean, the question, in a sense, we should quickly just move on in terms of the extent to which parent is important. Parenting is absolutely essential. You know, imagine families without parents. I mean, it doesn't even make sense, right? So, down to the role of parenting. I mean, of course, our role is to bring our children, you know, and that's, we shouldn't assume that we all know how to do that, yeah? That we all know how to do that. One of the things that we found at Origin is that we set out to work with young people, and in the process we extended that because we had to listen to what the parents were saying. And when the parents saw what the young people were going through, we quickly realized that we had to do work with them as well. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it's almost like a double helix. Whilst you're doing work with the young people, there's a parallel piece of work that needs to take place with the parents. And we've worked out that the impact of working with young people is limited if you do not also work with the families as part of a community.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, most definitely. I'd like to add to that. So we've worked to a similar model where at Manhood Academy, the parents do not come, drop their young people off and go Sainsbury's shopping, Gucci shopping, whatever. They stay. All right? So alongside the young masters being taught, the parents have the Parent to the Academy sessions, and they actually are taught the exact same thing that the young people are being taught, but in a mature way, and so that when they go home they can have dialogue about what they've learned. So it's a holistic process. So we know in this society we're used to working in fragments and individually, and we're bringing it back to the village setting where it's a holistic process. So parent, child work hand in hand, and it's so necessary. I mean, I don't know about you, but me personally, when I was younger, I lived in two different worlds. When I was at home, I was son. When I was on road, I was someone else, yeah? So really, it's about, I mean, with my children, I am very much in their worlds, their hopes, fears, anxieties, ambitions, etc. I can relate every single thing about their personality because I check in with them regular, okay? And I listen to them. Sometimes I listen without even having an opinion, just so that they can express themselves. So necessary, because we know as adults with children, sometimes we can get caught up in trying to pay the bills, the mortgage, etc., etc., and our children sometimes go rogue, and that's just like 1% of what the problem is.
Thank you.
Also, parent is key, but I do mentoring.
Yeah, I said parent is key. When I do mentoring, I work with children and parents, but I don't actually work with them together. I don't think you were saying you work with them together, but I don't, because some children and parents don't have a good relationship, because you can't work with them together. So some of my kids that I work with the youth, then I might work with the mum or the father different. And sometimes you got even, for me, I always look at like some of the parents, and a non-judgmental way, you don't know what they've been through, why they're even how they are, number one. Because some parents didn't actually have that parent in themselves. So for me, I kind of keep a very open mind when I deal with everybody. I don't actually have a structure. I deal with everybody as I see them. I meet them where they're at. That's how I deal with people, because of what I lived and how I went through. And I really like to meet people where they're at more than we're having a structure saying, this is what I'm going to do. If I see you today and he's good, or his mum's and she's good today, I ain't going with my mind saying, I got that ROC, which is ROC record contact. So I remember what I done last week or how it was, my ROC. I'm going next week with my mind clear, because I'm not
I mean, my heart, I wish that the same thing happens, but she might have a different state of mind. Something might happen. So I always go with an open mind. So I don't really have a structure in that sense, but I'm more just like, say, I kind of just make it feel free. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what I kind of do with my mentoring still. But I think parenting is very important. Parenting is key, but there's also many aspects to what we consider parenting. When we look at parenting, it's not just being your child's friend, but it's not just paying the bills neither. But then again, some single parents who want to get a job, want to work hard, and they want to make for themselves, it's kind of hard for them not to be there at work and who's going to look after a child. So that's why I say I try to meet people where they are, because you never really know what someone's going through. So I think that's key for me still personally.
Very true.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, very true, I believe that, definitely. It's a complex thing, especially when we're talking about black parenting, because that's what we're talking about. And when it comes to black parenting, whether you're Caribbean or African, our parenting was basically the same. You was in trouble, you know what you're going to get. Yeah? It didn't matter where you would come from, Jamaica, St. Lucia, Nigeria, Ghana. Back in the day, you know what you was going to get. Why I say it's complex is because now we're living in 2018. A lot of the parenting that our parents did not do, a lot of us parenting are now doing. So some of the people who are having children now resented, and we're going to talk openly and honestly, some of the people who are having children now resented what our parents done to us when we was younger. They said it was abuse. We didn't think it was abuse then. We thought it was funny. This one got licks, that one got licks. It was funny, it was a joke. Now 2018, that's abuse. I do safeguarding, I do child protection. That was abuse. So now it's a very complex thing. So now some of us are then saying, no, we don't want to parent like that anymore. We want to move it. We want to try and take on a new age parenting. And that also brings a problem, because where do you draw the line? Oh, I'm liberal, I'm conservative. No, I'm in the middle. Yeah? So now it's very difficult. So now some of our parenting, some, not all, is all over the place. Yeah? But there's two types of parenting when it comes to black parenting, because that's what we're talking about. And we have the village, that's your parent, and your parent at home. What we lost is the village. It's a fact. Let's not beat around the bush. It's a fact. We lost the village because the community spirit, because we was gone, so we was here for so long. So we adopted ways that were not our own. Yeah? What we're seeing right now, and I'm seeing some faces here, I'm seeing some faces over here, is a village community. And the reason why we've got back to a situation where it's a village community, because we've seen what we've done when we've neglected our own village mentality. And the situation is now dire. So no one's worrying about whether you're Muslim, whether you're a Buddhist monk, whether you're born again Christian, whether you're a Hebrew, whether you're Israelite. We're all black. And we've got an issue with our black boys.
So let me say this, Cass, and to everybody. If we were doing a good job as these individual isolated schools of thought, then did we, or has the lesson been missed in regards to parent and child, respect for self and respect for blackness? Because in order for someone to kill another black person, if you're black, then your respect and love for yourself can't be that great. Because we done a tour in primarily South London, where we went to every council estate, and all the young brothers who we met on the various council estates, we asked them the question that if our sons walked through here, you would stop them and ask them where they came from. If little white David or Johnny walked through, you ain't asking him nothing. Now, why is it David can walk from Hampstead through every estate and no one ain't stopping him? But my sons and your sons can't walk through the estates without being stopped.
Self-love.
Now, we spoke earlier about parenting. Now, isn't one of the first acts of a parent is to teach a child who they are? And if that job has been successfully done, then if I love myself, you become my mirror. Because when I see you, I see myself. But if I look at you and I hate you, can I really love myself? And if I see Caucasians and then love them and then are afraid to hurt them, what's happened to my head? There's no species on this planet you can go amongst who are engaged in killing themselves to the delight of any other species. So what happened to us? Because we speak about a lot in our community. I'm just going to use this as to provoke some thought. We speak a lot about mentors. We speak a lot about role models. But what is a mentor and what is a role model? Now, just by way of definition, dictionary definition of a role model is a person looked to by others as an example. We have a lot of role models in our community, right? But are they the right kind of role models? Can't hear you, sorry. But we do have models rolling, yes? Now what about mentorship and mentors? If a mentor is an experienced and trusted advisor, who's doing the advisory to our young people? And that's the noun. The verb of a mentor is an advisor or trainer of young people, especially but not limited to. Now, what kind of experience and training are the majority of our young people receiving? Is it good training? Or is it training that we have to revise? Because one thing the Honorable Louis Farrakhan teaches us and teaches me is the good always takes care of itself. So we don't have to have a discussion about good. What we're here to discuss is that which is not so good, right? So look, I want to get back to parenting a little. Parenting. What is fatherhood? What is motherhood? What is it? And are there any fathers in the house? Can I see your hands? Would you actually say that you are a father?
Yes.
Or did you have sex and as a consequence of the sex a baby was born that you weren't prepared for? Then there was silence.
I can say that happened too. That happened too.
Right.
I know how it happened too.
So did that happen to anybody?
Yeah.
Can't hear you, sorry. So we call ourselves, or sometimes society calls us baby fathers. I'm coming straight to you, brother. Sure.
Conversation has to change.
Sure.
This is solutions,
Sure.
planning, and action.
Sure.
Conversation must change.
Absolutely.
Let's
Absolutely.
get busy with the work.
Yes, we will.
Understand what we're talking about right now.
Sure.
The conversation must change.
Sure.
We're not even going to the root, to be honest. Because the parenting is not the root. No, parenting.
Brother, what's important is we have order. Brother, please be acknowledged before you speak, please. It's important.
Conversation has to change though.
So look, in order to follow through on what was just put on the floor, because as I said, you can't solve any problem unless you first look at the cause, because what we're looking at is an effect and it has a cause, and unless we identify the cause, then we can't adequately do anything for long term regarding the effects that's caused us all to be in this room at this time. So my brother, you had your hand up, sir.
I'm just going to make a point. I understand the brother's frustration. I think it's important to acknowledge that some fathers have
We're going to get you a microphone so everybody can hear you.
My name is Anthony Abiola Dada, and I acknowledge the brother's frustration. I think it's important that we understand that there are some men who have just donated sperm and there are others who have been fathers. I personally have been a single father raising 2 children as a single parent, and Brother Pablo has mentored my brother, my son. So And I've spent 25 years investing in our young people. So I know firsthand that we have failed in many respects. This is not about apportioning blame, but this is about being real. Adults need to have a holistic conversation. After working with young people for 20 years, they said to me, you need to teach our parents what you're teaching us. Right. So this is really what is needed. It's about addressing the issue with love. A conversation needs to be had with men and women. I raised my 2 children as a single parent because their mother was not there. So they are on equal size, men and women. There are dysfunctional things that have occurred. It's not about apportioning blame, and I would never say a bad thing about my children's mother.
Absolutely.
But we have to now be able to come with love, because guess what? We could look at this as a really bad, sad situation. But how about looking at it like, because we haven't taken care of our business, the Creator has created this situation to force us to come together and do what is necessary.
Great wisdom. Thank you. Great wisdom. Thank you, brother. Brother Pablo?
Tony, I just want to say that you have a fine son, brother, and you done that. And I want to acknowledge you for what you did in bringing up that young man who is a very powerful brother right now. And I applaud you for that, my brother. Absolutely. I just want to, if you don't mind, point out is that without making any references to any individuals, but you know, there are times when we find it difficult. We all find it difficult, you know, and that we're not perfect in that sense, that we got answers to everything. And so at key moments, we need each other. And I think that there were, you know, when we think back at things that have happened, if we haven't got the kind of organizations, or we can't take the kind of initiatives that can intervene at critical moments, then what we see is certain trauma playing out. Yeah? I'm going to say this. I don't beat my children. Yeah? But I would say that my father was quite a disciplinarian. Yeah? And yeah, I think some of us might be able to identify with that kind of upbringing. Yeah? It wasn't easy for me. But when I reflect on his upbringing, he didn't only get disciplined, he got brutalized, okay? And when I look at my grandfather's upbringing, what I'm saying is that there is a tremor, there is a trauma playing out, yeah? And that is one of the reasons why I made a pledge that I would never beat my children, because that has to stop. I must be a more effective parent than have to lift up my hand to beat them, yeah? And I'm just saying that certain cycles and certain things must stop and certain things must start.
Thank you, brother. And one of the things that you're alluding to is you found an alternative way of disciplining your children. It can be said that way, right? An alternative way of disciplining. Similarly, sometimes we get stuck in the traditions of carrying over and carrying on some of the worst of some of our parents, and not necessarily the best. And similarly, on the opposite side of the spectrum, we have been also very limited in our expression of pleasure. So, and we've limited ourselves to only set forms of pleasures. And we had a discussion this morning, we had a workshop on entrepreneurship. And one of the things we discussed that we were going to do and introduce today for our young people was a youth version of the Entrepreneurs Club. Because when you look at what many of our, or some of our young brothers and sisters are engaged in, the enemy calls it selling drugs and all kinds of illegal activity. But in order for someone to have powder, divide powder, compartmentalize powder, and have a group of people who will go out and distribute some kind of powder, and have loyalty to bring back money for powder. If we put a brother like that in the city, he'll run a very successful hedge fund. Very successful hedge fund. So the desire to do something great has always been there where we are concerned as a people. But our enemies have been very successful in manipulating our natural desires. Let's give the Queen a big round of applause as she comes. Now, the reason why I'll stop to acknowledge my sister is because Sister Cheryl Phoenix, not only does she speak about intervening in the affairs of our young people when they're expelled from school, she has gone and visited over nearly 3,000 families in the black community who's had their children expelled from school and misrepresented. So let's give her, and she don't have no funding. This is from the love of her heart and those who support what she's doing. So we'll come to you, Sister Cheryl. So, brothers and sisters, we want to offer this opportunity for you because you've come out this evening and we've assembled this panel for you to ask questions and for you to pose whatever is on your mind so that you can get answers. And you heard everybody introduce themselves and you heard what everybody does. So are there any questions in regards to bringing forth solutions as to what we're suffering in our community that you would like to levy at this panel? I've spoken to you, brother. The brother beside you, two brothers away from you. Sir?
Yeah, I would like to know, like, we've gathered here, I hear what the brothers and sisters have been saying up there, but I want to know what we're going to do when we leave here as individual people, and how we're going to keep the momentum going on to break through for a change. You know, I hear the brother up there saying, you know, there's a time to stop something and there's a time to start. And I think, like, I mean, I've been living in Lambeth for like over 40 years and I've seen a lot of change, you know, some good and some bad. You know, as we get to hear now with the intents of this, you know, this killing on a mad level, you know, I'm just saying, yeah, there's different things I would say is a contribute to this situation. But, you know, as a community, I want to see how we're going to fight back, you know, put up a resistance, I mean, against what the governments are doing institutionally wise with our young children. And also, you know, as a group, as we gather here, I'm sure we can help each other, support all of the local organisations in Lambeth, you know, like give them a bit more of a stage so they can go out and do the work what they do. You know, I'm here to support and encourage anything what's going forward. You know, like, you know, we could talk all day long about the things what we know is gone bad. I hear that all day long. But, you know, I'm a proactive kind of guy. I want to know what we're going to get up and start doing. And I don't really care about the government and the system as our enemy. I want to know what revolution we're going to start up and do for ourselves. I'm not scared of the enemy.
Okay, very good. Just 2 points before I go to the next person.
Can I just add to that?
Can you hold fire for me, please? Just be patient. Brothers, those of you who are young and healthy, could you please donate your seat to one of our beautiful sisters so that they can have a seat, if you don't mind. Don't just stand up in droves. Sisters, come forward, and we want to make sure that you get a seat because we want to start the relationship right today. Thank you, brothers. And brothers, you can come down as far as you like. To the side, it's fine. You can make yourself as comfortable as possible. Thank you, brothers. Let's give the brothers a big round of applause for forgoing their seat. And sister, back to you, who was speaking.
Yes, salam alaikum.
Can you stand up so I can see you? I can hear you.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Right,
Thank
yes. I just wanted to add to what the brother was saying here. This is my partner as well. And we run an organisation called New Approach. Between us, we've got 40 years in youth service, social services, the prison service, and so on. So we work very extensively with young people. Whole Armour and New Approach is what we run. We've worked in conjunction with yourselves and many, many more, Brother Hilary. So, yeah. Bottom line is, for me, I think, is that, you know, being an activist for the last 25 years, 30 years, sitting in forums like this time and time again. You know, I remember 25 years ago sitting in this very building, or 20 years ago, 15 years ago, Angel Town, Carlton Hall, wherever it was. And we were prophesying almost. We knew when the crack epidemic was coming. We were prophesying what was going to happen in our community. We saw when our young people were starting to form gangs. We knew that it was going to get to this state. So yes, we have failed. Some of us have, in quite spectacular ways, yeah, and we see that out in the community. Others, I mean, I came in the middle of the debate around parenting. Now, from my standpoint, or the way that I see it is, I do a lot of work in the cells, in prisons, and places of ill repute, if you like. So I'm meeting young boys who are gang members who are called Heru, or Set, or Cyrus. So they know. Our young people know. The point is they're desensitized to that, I think. That it isn't all about bad parenting. We are fighting a mammoth thing. And let me start with scripture, because we are wrestling not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. We need to come together now. Nation, church, community groups, the roadman them, everybody. That's what we need to be doing in these times. And it's also time, I think, for sisters to stand up. We are the mothers that are burying these children, many of us alone, because of the same thing that you've been talking about. So we do have to have this debate. I agree with that. And I understand this brother over here, his frustration as well. I understand it all. But what we have to do, like brother was saying, is have a concerted effort. We need a presence. We need a corporate structure. You know, like the 3-year economic program, like the old school.
Sure.
This is what we need. We need to coordinate it together. And we need to forget whether or not it's the cross. We need to forget whether or not it's the crescent and moon. It's the crescent and star. We have to come together with concerted efforts. And also there's an absence of who we're talking about in the room.
Right.
This is very, very important. Why are we preaching to the converted 30 years in, my brother? Not that I'm not directing that at the nation or any one group. It's us as a community that we have been doing this for so long. We need to stop talking and come to action. Let's have a march. Let's march on Parliament. Let's do that. Let's bring outreach to the youth and groups to the youth in the community.
Thank you. I've heard you out. Thank you. Right. So now, in the brothers and sisters, in the interest of time, and because there's a lot of potential, potentials,
No, what is no?
I want to talk.
Brothers and sisters, we're gonna let me hear. No, we're not gonna have a march, Vince. We want to hear from. Well, no, we don't want. We've done that.
Can I
hold on a minute. Hold on. Vincent, give Vincent a mic so he can express himself.
No.
Vince, let me get you a mic. I'm coming to you.
Yes, thank you very much. Listen, we don't want no march. The march is just degrading us even more. If we want to take a stand, we need to ascend onto any part of London or England you want us to be, to make our point and tell them with our plan, this is what we're doing, back us now. Because everyone is begging and they're laughing at us. Right? 15 years ago in Brixton Town Hall, I put to them, get the youth clubs together, the church them together, the mosque them together.
It's cool, brother.
But
I get it. He won't take a picture of you, brother. He got the point. We got the point. I got the point.
I said, get the church them together, the mosque them together, and all the community groups, and then we can start talk. What are we going to do in our community? Now we've got so much people in here today. And it's beautiful to see so much diversity in the Nation of Islam's building, where a lot of people is running from. So today, Brother Hakim, Minister Hakim, you've done good.
Thank you.
Now, all the different organizations, what is in the house today, we need names of all the organizations, and then we start with a monthly meeting with everybody, and everybody can bring another person or two person, and that will be the start to help to go to the solution you are looking for. Right now, everybody said they're talking to youth. They're talking to youth. You don't talk to no real gangster youth them yet, right? You're talking to the paper one them, the one them who just want to hype up in front of cameras, right? You need a real man them to help you with the real gangster them who say they're gangsters, right? This is how we're gonna get to a solution. It's not gonna be foolproof.
Yeah, I know that.
It's not gonna be foolproof.
That's right.
But this
That's
way
right.
will help. Too much people is talking who ain't even got any children, who's never been in any gang war. Don't talk for me and my family, cause I've been crying for my family before anything happened to them, right? So we need to get the forum of all the different groups, and from you do that, you will see who is really real and who is fake.
Thank you, brother.
That's what we need to do first.
Thank you. Can I just say something first, though, brothers and sisters? Can I just say something, please? As Vincent respected and everybody respects the order, let's just be orderly, brother. Steve? Go ahead, brother.
What's going on now?
Can I say something?
I don't know. He wasn't invited officially, Red. We didn't officially invite him, so I don't know where he is. But we're gonna try. But hold on a minute, please. Vince, we appreciate, and I appreciate the guidance that you just gave, and the recommendation for a monthly meeting, and everybody who is a part of an organization must definitely register that. So I appreciate that, because that's a solution. Big round of applause. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And we're going to take that, and we're going to make sure that happens before we leave here today. Steve?
Yeah, no, I hear what the elder was saying still, but there's also a big problem still. As much as what the elder was saying, to me I say a big problem is this. I don't have government funding. I do my own thing in it. Like I said earlier to everyone, I got my own studios, portable studios, everything. But let me say what I'm saying to you. I hear what the big man saying about, I find that in our community we do a lot of talking anyway. I'm going to be real with our community. We do a lot of talking because the man said about people out there really done things. Like I said to everyone earlier, who wasn't here, I said to everyone, I got kicked out of 4 high schools. I went to prison in Jamaica at the age of 15. I went to prison again at the age of 21 for murder. I hit the streets hard as a youth. I changed my life, come out of prison. I've been on the road 10 years now. I got a degree in medicine. I have my own business. I stopped doing all the medical side. I still own a clinic. I have my own thing in Stonebridge. I don't do it no more. I got a studio. I'll put a studio for youth them. I do filmmaking. But when I tell parents I do mentoring for young people, and I charge government, like council, that certain amount of money. Community, I charge it less because I have to maintain my job with my own kids to feed as well. When I talk to certain parents, they're like, boy, do it for less, do it for this, or can you do it for free? I do want kids for free, but some parents, recently, I won't call her name, but I don't want to embarrass nobody, but somebody said to me recently, could I not mentor the child for £10 an hour? I said, what? And I don't just do no mentor, we sit down and chat. I offer them studio time, football, martial arts, all different things I mentioned. The parent, in a conversation, I said to a friend on the phone, a phone ring, and a friend said to her friend, can you, how should I do £100 for a year do? And by NC I dance, but you can't give me money to mentor your child. So right now I think our community needs to take responsibility and support each other.
Absolutely.
Because you have organizations out there that are really doing things in the hood, but support us, innit?
Right.
Keep it real.
Right. So, brother, then sister.
Yeah, I want to ask you, I think you're all doing a great job. Yeah, my name's Tarek. Some people know me as Patrick. You're all doing a great job. But I don't feel that your organizations really, fit in with the type of boys that some of the teenagers that we have out there. A lot of them are psychopaths, they're sociopaths, they're misfits. How do you propose to deal with people like that? The hardest walk I've ever been on, was walking behind my son's coffin on the 21st of December the day that his killer was celebrating his birthday. I had to sit in court for 3 weeks, yeah, watching this guy look at me and wink and smile and nod his head. Those people can't be changed. They can't be changed. How do we want to deal? How are we going to deal with people like that? Because I'm telling you, you can't deal with those people. How are we going to deal with them? I'm going to give you an idea where I'm coming from. I remember years ago I read the News of the World before it became the Sun on Sunday, yeah, and there were some boys in the IRA sent a group of guys. I sent a priest, sorry, to a group of boys on an estate and told them to leave Northern Ireland by 12 o'clock. They sent a message back to the IRA saying, we don't want to go, we're not leaving, just give us a good beating. And the IRA said, no, you have to come out of the community. And the community was happy with that when they all left. I'm just giving you an idea of where I'm coming from. I just don't believe that you can sit down and talk to people that have got no conscience. All they care about is bling. All they care about is Gucci shoes and their little tight trousers. Yeah? I don't.
You can't save everyone, bro.
Thanks, brother. Thank you for that. But as what I will say, brother, you know, the scripture does teach us that no one is beyond reform, and I'm a firm believer. Hold on a minute. We can agree to disagree, my brother. We can. Sure. So what's important, brothers and sisters, is keep the spirit high and let's keep order, and we can leave here blessed. Yes? All right. So, Sister Cheryl.
Okay, greetings and good afternoon, evening, everyone. Just in response to that, one thing that I noted, and a lot of the time these government officials, and we keep looking to government, why, I don't know. The government haven't been set up for us. They're not here to do us anything for us. They are a corporation. So first and foremost, I think we need to let that go. Yes, our grandparents and their parents have paid their taxes into this system, but there's ways and means of getting hold of that, because that is our money too, and we are entitled to it. But until we organise ourselves and stop playing the blame game and stop looking at everybody else to solve our problems, we're going to keep going around in this cycle. As the sister said over there before, I've been in this industry for over 20 years myself. I know I look young. But I've been in this industry for over 20 years myself, and I have 3 sons also. Now, the interesting thing is, doing what I do as the Black Child Agenda, going into schools and seeing our children go from happy, intelligent children to all of a sudden having their heads down, being angry, being aggressive, when they're in an environment where people are telling them that they're useless, that they're worthless, that they're no good. They're the ones that are being bullied and picked on daily. No one's listening to them until maybe someone finds them hanging in a room, or mum's at work, 9 times out of 10, dad's at work 9 times out of 10, because nowadays you can't claim benefits, you can't do this, you can't be at home. And where are the community? Where are all of you? How many of you look after your neighbour's children if you're not working? How many of you knock on the doors of your local community centres and say, can I use your building for 2 or 3 times a week? Now, this is what I had to do. I'm sorry, but this is my reality that I can tell you. I'm living by experience. In my local area, we have a lot of killings. I live in Church Road, North West London. So I live in the heart of where the violence is. My son was stabbed 2 years ago, nearly died. 8 hours of surgery from his chest down to his belly button. So I know real time. I haven't lost my son, so I'm quite grateful I can sit here and speak today. However, I saw a problem in my community with our young people. I saw an issue with exclusions and bullying by teachers and other children and the older boys in their community who are grown men who are teaching and bullying our children into carrying knives, carrying guns, and taking our other lives. So this is the reality that I see. Now, me as a parent and my 3 sons, we knocked on, kicked down the door of the youth centre in front of our house, a £2 million building that was closed most evenings. So if you don't give me this building for 3 hours, 1 day a week, that's all I want. I'm not paying you either. We can bring our young people in here. I had 125 young people in the building every single week without fail. Every week. So I'm not really hearing the excuses or the long talking. If you build it, they will come. And then you turn the minds of these young people. None of our young people are born bad. But if they're left in the hands of nobody, what the hell do you expect them to do? When they're on road being harassed by police, when they're being accused of doing things they haven't done, when they're being ganged up against, where are we as the elders in that community? Where are we? So I'm not looking at nobody to fix my road. I live on my road. My sons can knock anybody's door on my road. My sons, anyone will feed my child if they don't have nowhere to go. Why? Because I built my community. I created my village. And that's just that. Unless you're willing to take 2 hours out of your day where you live, you don't need to be traveling across London. Where you live is where it starts, because that's where your children are growing. Why are you going to take yourself from South London to go clean a Tottenham to do what? When on your own doorstep children are dying. Fix your own yard first and then go out and do your work.
Thank you, Cheryl. My brothers there have had their hand up and been patient. Oh, yeah, sorry. Whoa. So, let's these two sisters and brothers, I'm coming to you, please.
Firstly, good evening, everyone. I think my name's Simone Frazier. Firstly, I just want to say, this is more than overdue. I want to congratulate you guys for actually putting this together.
Thank you.
Then I want to get to the point of, we've always been doing things in a very separatist manner. And there lies one of the key roots of the problem. We're here to speak about solutions, but first, even what's happened and transpired, even in the midst of this evening's meeting, we've seen the division amongst us. We're talking about going to Parliament, marching and all this. But first, we have to take a mirror up for every single one of ourselves. You know, I came from Jamaica, May the 5th, 1985, and I'm not going to take the floor too long. So I'm a Jamaican, daughter of a farmer who wakes up 5:30 every morning. So from very early on, my mother left me. I didn't know my mother till I was 7 years old when she sent for me to come to this so-called land of the privileged, the land of milk and honey. When I came here, the streets were not paved with gold. It was high-rise flats, number 76 Pinter House, Stockwell. That's where I came to, from what was a lush land of farming, what I was used to, a river as my playground, a farm as my playground. And I tell you what, I came and I then moved to number 8 Thringhouse, Stockwell Gardens Estate. And as I'm speaking to you, I'm telling you, I'm flooded and filled with emotion. Why? Because I had to fight as a young black Jamaican woman to not be pregnant at a young age. Okay, to have my voice heard at a young age. To actually raise up my other sisters in school. Because people, number one, I had to fight my peers. Because I was light-skinned. Hello, I was light-skinned, she had long hair. So what? So the slavery mentality was already there. I didn't experience this in Jamaica. People didn't fight me because I was light-skinned. Okay? I had to be always cautious of the Brixton girls against me because I'm from Stockwell. So this thing has been inbuilt. And I tell you what, it took for a mother, a single-parent mother, a lioness mother, to actually have to stand up and said, you are not a product of this external Stockwell Gardens estate. You are a product of within 8 Thringhouse. And you will go out there and you will stand strong and you will represent yourself. Fast forward, I ended up going and becoming a broadcasting journalist. I moved to Leeds, came back, but would still go into the local schools in Stockwell. Would still go and say, listen, if I'm not from here, and I can do this, you can. And what I always saw when I was young was this sense of entitlement from these British young people. I couldn't go in my grandmother's fridge unless I was given permission to go in her fridge. Okay? And I think we have to go back to the roots. Now, I'm a mother. And I tell you what, in all good sense, my mother, she moved us out of Stockwell. By 1996, we were one of the first black families to live in Shirley in West Wickham. But I tell you what, I had 3 children, twins age 6 and a little baby age 2. I've got 2 boys. As soon as my first son went into school, within the first couple of weeks, I saw my baby boy change from a stand-up, strong lion of a young boy to his head down, just like what that sister said. And I thought, what has happened to my son? I prepared him in every way that I could have done. He's got a mother and a father, 2 strong a black couple together, which everyone in the media thought I would marry a white man. I'm not a racist, by the way, young Caucasian brother there, right? I'm not a racist, but everyone presumed,
Sure.
oh, she switched. But listen, very quickly, I'm going to say to you, I relate to that sister because you have to fight for your children. When I went to the school system and said, why is my son turned like this? The teacher turned and said to me, your son just has no spark.
So, sister, in the interest of time.
So, in solutions, I do entrepreneurialism things. I do broadcasting. I will drive, and if I see young boys stealing, I will jump in my car, chase them, and get them to answer to me. Why are you doing that? Take that back to the shops. Even though I live all the way in Purley, look where I am now. Yeah, I don't forget my community. So it's now getting together, collaboration, having, just like the civil rights movement, from this point, coming together, not in these single separatist money thing, but under one umbrella so that our voices can be heard from the rooftops.
Thank you.
Let's do this.
Thank you.
Let's do this.
So just before I go to my sister, who's been waiting patiently, what I'm extracting from what you're saying and what Cheryl said and what we've all experienced, my eldest is probably is 31, and one of my daughters who's 24, me and my wife, we made it very clear they weren't going to the same schools that destroyed me. So we started a school on Angel Town Estate, and we had it there for over 10 years, and we moved it here. Now, so for 18 years, we had a full-time school. It wasn't just a weekend Saturday school. It was a full-time school. And we consciously and deliberately called that school New Mind, okay? Because as a people, we need a new mind. And I remember we were in the house and we kept on debating this, when we're going to start. And my biological brother said to me, let's start next week. Because again, there was a lot of talk, a lot of planning, but the execution weren't there. You see, when he put a date and a deadline, that's when the school started, and the rest was history. So what I'm extracting from yourselves is, there's more than enough people in here to fund a school. Because a school ain't the big building that the white man's got. The school is just space with intelligent people who can inculcate wisdom into those children's head. So as a solution, are you ready for your own schools? I can't hear you, sorry. So
Absolutely.
you see, this building here can be used Monday morning for you and your children. It can be used Tuesday for you and your children. It's 6,000 square foot. Now, if you're serious, we can do it. But one of the problems we have is going back to what Steve said. We know the problem exists, but we're more interested in giving the money to Louis Vuitton and want to pay our mentors £10 an hour, where nothing don't work like that. So if we're willing to pay our teachers who have the knowledge to transfer to our babies, we can start planning for our own independent school for our babies as soon as today. You ready for it? Can I see your hands, please? Okay, because Monday's coming and the half term is over. And many of us are going to be handing our children back over to Satan Monday morning, right? Knowing what they're going to do to our children. Yes? So is the idea to continue to give our children to Satan and then try and debrief them when they get home, or just make sure they don't have an education from Satan? Period. Can we achieve that? I can't. That was weak. That was weak. Because if we're going to have children and then hand them over to the person who we know is destroying them, then we are the problem. Yes? So I'm tabling that as a motion. Can we start our own school? And those of you who go to a church, hold on a minute, and your pastor may take in millions of pounds in charity, I want you to go to church tomorrow and tell the pastor that we need a school. Some of you ain't saying nothing. This is real talk. Because there's no reason why any group or organization should have millions in the bank with the kind of crisis that's in our community. Yes, that money needs to be spent next week. So, sister, but I want you to give me some questions, some solutions, because we don't have a time for a lot of statements.
Yeah. And I'm really serious about this. We came up from Derby today.
Big round of applause.
Because that's how important this is to us. And I appreciate everything that everybody has said today. But I'm going to try and just bring a couple of different points.
Sure.
Okay? So I had an event a couple of weeks ago, and the sister gave the after-dinner talk, and she called it. She said, who are we when no one's looking? So today, lots of people have said, yes, I'm going to do this. I support. But when you leave here and tomorrow, it's gone. And one of the reasons I'm saying this is because, do you know, a couple of weeks ago, well, last week, we had all these deaths. And hardly anybody's talking about it. It's out of the news, and people have moved on to a new subject. Yeah, okay. And I really have a problem with that. So let me tell you where I'm coming from. I've tried to contact some of the brothers here. I spoke to Sister Phoenix and other people and said, right, give me some of the names of who are our organisational leaders. It's a bit embarrassing. I'm kind of quite upset about this. I've called some of them and I've said, like, this is what I'm going to try and do. Because I say I. Not what we should be doing. I'm going to take my responsibility. I am doing, okay? I was the fundraiser with Simone Debanya for the Stephen Lawrence campaign, so I've been here years fighting. This isn't new. And I'll travel from Derby and I'll come to London. And it's not an issue for me because I love my people. We had a murder in Derby about 10 years ago. One murder. They're still talking about it today. One murder, yeah? Okay, so I'm from a different school of thought. But here, I'm here to support. So I do the I, but here's what's lacking, is strategy. I called various brothers. Brothers, you know what happened? They said, yeah, I'll come to that, Denise. But who's coming? So I drop a name. No, we're not coming to that, no. I'm not talking to him. I don't get on with him. I don't agree. These were the brothers saying this. Yeah, I was so hurt. So I'm hoping today to have a different conversation at the end, because I have a plan. Yeah, I have a plan, okay, and I have a strategy and a framework which I'm trying to put together. We can't, unfortunately, we can't, unfortunately, do this complete without the statutory organisation. We need a little bit of their help, but there's a lot that we can do. And I'm going to give you an example why we're a little bit different. Well, we're not always that brilliant. Slightly different. There's a gentleman in our community who's got prostate cancer, So I've been working with this organisation to raise £54,000 for him. Let me tell you something. You go to look at crowdfund page and you see near 30,000 in 10 days. But guess what? And they put their names down on the list. Not for my people, just the odd ones, yeah? So then I say, right, I'm going to go to 100 black men of London, and we set a little thing up. You know, people are saying to me, are you sure that money's going to get there? We don't trust each other, yeah? We don't trust each other. So that's a real problem. So when I leave here today, the crowdfunding is something I want to do, because that's what I do. For the Stephen Lawrence campaign back in the day, we raised this month 370-something thousand in 3 months by asking people £1. How much people is in here today? How much people is in here today? £1 I asked them for, okay? And we raised that money. So, Cheryl, you shouldn't be struggling. You shouldn't be struggling. How much black people, okay, how much people here, this brother's asked about the schooling side of things. We should be able to do that. So we can do our own crowdfunding. Don't tell me about GoFundMe where people are taking 2% for themselves. We have enough people in here. How many black people are in London? Do you know the numbers? Who knows how many black people live in London, in inner London? How much?
Just over 2 million.
Okay, just over 2 million. If everybody puts in £1, and those who can put in £5 and £10 and £20, how much money are we going to get?
A whole heap of money.
A whole heap of money.
Let me say this, and I know that these kind of solutions are on the table, but let me say this. Yeah. It's important that with some of the strategies that you mentioned, these have to be exhausted in a round table closed setting. So I say that to say it's the points you're making are pressing and they're very important. And I love the fact that you travelled all the way from Derby and the history of work that you have done in our community. But some of the points we will have to meet and discuss in a smaller setting.
Which is why I have a group of 20. I did one just a couple of weeks ago, and I want 20 brothers who are organisational leads. I'm just doing this, and I'm not going to be there. I'll just set it up just for the brothers, okay, to have that meeting. Then I'm going to do one for the sisters, okay, and I'm going to do one for the young people. I've been approached by 2 organisations, one linked to HBO,
who've just done some work with Omar from The Wire, okay? And they're asking me to do something around young people with gangs in terms of filming, okay? So I want to have a different conversation about that. But I want to do the 20 brothers. So I hope when we do the interviews out there, that people will come and talk to me. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Minister, can I just... Minister?
Yeah, and then yourself, okay.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, because a lot of people are generalizing, and we shouldn't generalize our whole community. There's many different organizations that work together in small pots. Yeah, so let's not generalize, and let's not just say black people, some black people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you,
also, another solution would be we are all around this table here. Let's all exchange numbers. Let's all work together. There's a big event that's going on in June between some major organization that will be coming soon, that's coming together. So there's a lot of things happening. It's not all doom and gloom. If we get into this situation where it's doom and gloom, we will then create the narrative. And we've got young people here. So the young people are listening to the older people. It's not all doom and gloom. There's actually a meeting in Bernie Grant Center on Monday. There's another meeting in Bruce Grove on Friday. There's so many different meetings. People are galvanized now. Yeah. So let's just continue the narrative of, you know what, there's some doom and gloom, but we are working together. So let's get that narrative.
Thank you, Cash. Hakeem?
Hello there. Sorry. I want to say something very close to what that young man just said over there, yeah? We need to better our networking. Because the unemployment with our children is very high. Very high. So we need to obviously provide for our own children. That's the issue that we actually have. It's great when we talk about scriptures and faith systems, that's great. But our economy or economics is not that great. You know, I think some things could just maybe just put on the shelf for a moment and just deal with our circumstances. I am coming from a Christian point of view, so I know what it is to be quote scriptures and all that stuff. But we're coming from a line where we're just not actually going forward like other communities are. So we really need to deal with that.
Give me the point that you're...
The point I'm making is that our circumstances are not changing. We start quoting scriptures, but we're still in the same place. Yeah, no, I have to be honest about this.
Sure.
So the thing is this, is that our economy within our
But you
group,
said you were a Christian, right?
I'm coming from a Christian point of view.
Are you a part of a church?
Not anymore.
Okay. Did you levy
We're talking
that?
worship leader.
Okay.
We're talking traveling around.
Sure.
We're talking a gospel singer.
Okay, good.
Okay, so I'm talking, I don't look my age either, I'm 42. Okay? Well, I'm going to be 42 this year, so I don't look my age.
All right, brother.
Okay, so we have a situation where we talk about, you know, God, we talk about, you know, quote scripture, but yet our circumstances is not changing.
So is there a solution you want to offer to
The solution I'm saying is that we need to provide jobs for our own.
Okay.
Okay, we're not doing that.
Of course.
Okay, so we need to be in a better position.
Thank you.
Instead of going around in circles like this.
Thank
That's
you,
all I
brother.
want to say.
Brother behind you had something to say real quick. He's had his hand up a long time.
Listen, sorry. You got Access UK right behind, right over here. So you have people with careers and jobs.
Sure.
We can't even provide for our own. That's the issue that we're having. Why don't we deal with that first and then do what you want to do in terms of your faith systems?
As I said to you earlier, brother, with some of your ideas and recommendations, it's important that we have a smaller meeting to focus on things exclusively as what you're mentioning. But this particular setting is not for that. So it's very important that you appreciate why we are here today. Okay? Because if not, we're never going to get anything done. All right? So, brother, real quick, please, in the interest of time. Thank you.
I'll try to be quick. Good evening, brothers and sisters. Focusing on solutions, I've got a question for the panel and an open question for the room. So I think it's really important we put ourselves in the position of these young boys and understand why they do what they do. And I'm speaking from experience and observation. So if you ask yourself, why do these young boys, why are they attracted to the streets? I'd say there's three key things. There's money. They want to make money, they want power, and there's girls as well. Right, so how do we create a lifestyle which offers these three things to these young boys? How do we create a more attractive lifestyle? So focusing on solutions, anyone can answer.
Thank you, brother.
That's the question.
Thank you. We're going to take this question to the panel. Before I come to you, I'm going to take this question. So, panelists, sister, three things: money, power, and girls.
All right, cool. So
That's the motivating factor, brother. Can we get some order, please? Thank you, everybody.
okay, we spoke about this yesterday, money, power, and girls. Obviously, a lot of the boys that we deal with, you have to blame the girls because of lifestyle, Giuseppe's, everything. This is what social media, this is what the music portrays. But then we have to blame the elders because all the boys that are here saying we set up organisations doing this, we set up organisations doing that, you're not at the front line. Where all the elders before, they're at the front line. So you need to come together with other organisations. We're talking about umbrellas. Recently, the phone's been ringing off like, let's let them work because I hear you're out here. Some people are just doing it out for status. Some people are not doing it because their heart's in it. Some people, we had to beg Towfield for a room for boys to come off the road and talk about experiences. I'm a girl, I've got 32 criminal records by the time I was 20. We talked about the roads, how we're going to do things, how we're going to put everything together. Forget talking about solutions with Tom, Dick and Harry. All the organisations that are serious, come under one umbrella. Come under one. This is what it is. We got division in because of funding, because of postcode. Angel Town's got funding over there, so they want to stay over there. Brixton's got funding and they want to stay over here. But we need to fund ourselves. Yesterday we struggled to get everything, to get you to come to say, boom, we're going to do t-shirt making, we're going to do entrepreneur, we're going to take the boys to networking events and make you think like you're a boss. Then you're going to start being a boss. That's what we need to do. And we need to educate as well. We need some boys like Brother Minka, them real teachers out here to be educating. We can't have every organisation that's saying, well, I'm doing this, but you're only out here on social media. We don't hear about you other times. I've gone to events, I see Cheryl on Frontline, gang out here, because this is what she does. I don't hear all talking about there's an organisation that started yesterday and they want to get funded. Forget funding. Every man get funding together. Join as one. The division is in our organisation. If we don't work together, the boys are not going to respect us regardless.
Thank you. So, brother, you wanted to say something. I'm going to come to you.
Yeah.
So, Hakeem, I'm going to defer to you.
Hi, greetings everybody.
Greetings.
Okay, hi, my name's Rachel. I'm sitting down, sorry. Alright, I recently set up a service, well, I'm in the process of setting up a service, a counselling service, a telephone service for parents and young people. I put a notice out on WhatsApp, basically requesting for volunteers. Did you? Okay, I have mentioned. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, I've been inundated with many people, professionals, psychotherapists, counsellors, social workers, everyone wanting to support. The aim is for the callers to call in, receive support and counselling, and then for the person on the other end of the phone to be telling the callers about the services that we already... I spoke to you, didn't I? Mm-hmm. Yeah. About the services we already have in our community. So it's about our community helping ourselves. Instead of saying, right, go to a governmental organisation like social services or whatever, we have services already which are very good. Cheryl Phoenix, I rate you. You are doing an amazing job, but I don't understand why there ain't people helping you, because there's people in the community who would most probably want to do what you're doing and help do what you're doing. Manhood Academy, you're doing fantastic work, but there's most probably men out here who also want to help you. So I'm saying, like, the organisations that are already here, they need to get together on a regular basis and discuss how they're doing their thing. That you should be going into the community, asking the community to support you. Because I put out for volunteers, my phone hasn't stopped. I get 20 calls per day of all these professionals, all these people saying, do you know what, I'm going to volunteer, I want to volunteer. So if I'm doing, I haven't even got a service. I've never done it before. But you guys have your services out there. Ask the community to help you, and they will help you.
Thank you, sister. Yeah, hold on 1 minute now. 1 second.
I'm on the radio, sorry.
Could you hold the line? Could you hold the line?
Hold the line.
Now, let me say this. Brother Vincent mentioned nearly 45 minutes ago that all organizations in this building must put their name down on a register so we can know who's in the building. So we don't need to keep replicating what has been said. So what we're going to do, I already agreed that we're going to do that. and on your way in, you signed in at the reception. If on your way out you can register your organization and your contact details, then we can call you back one day in the week and we can have an organizational meeting, so that when we invite the community to come back again, we can have all the organizations at the front, you see, and we can see what everybody is doing, and we can see what the budgets are for the various organizations based upon the services, and those who are duplicating the same efforts, then maybe they can come together. And if we work together where we're doing the same thing, then we might have 100 organizations today, but maybe we only need about 10. Maybe we need 5, maybe we need 7, if we realize that there's a lot of duplication of efforts. So we've agreed to do that. So let's focus on other things that we need to do, as opposed to just keep on going over the same points. Brother, then Brother Dean. Sir?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I just want to spin it, okay? So we're talking about these grand schemes that we need to do, and some of us will actually deliver on these schemes. But we've come in for solutions, and there's like, what, 6, 7, 8 of us here. I'm looking like 150 of you. And I'm looking at you as a solution. You're looking at us and I'm saying, what solution? I'm saying, I can see all of you now. I looked in all of your eyes, by the way, while you was talking, because I'm very present, right? You are the solution. Practically on a daily basis, mundane. How many people walk past a group of young people, hoods on, looking fogged out, man, doing that, yeah? But do you cross the road, or do you nod an acknowledgement maybe, or say how you doing, or how was your day? You know, our young people are very approachable and very intelligent, you know, even though they look threatening and unapproachable. So that's one thing. As a solution, I put a challenge out to all of you, and you're all looking at me. I can see you all right now, right? This is the solution. From today, tomorrow, next week, when schools start, mundane school run, everything like that, right? If you see a young person in your family or on the street, acknowledge them, ask them how they're doing, and have a conversation, and do not give them opinion about what they're saying. Just listen. Trust me. You create rapport, connectedness from listening to our young people. And each one of us individually can do that. And we can create grand schemes and organizations and collaborate together. But leaving here today, practically, I would like to put the challenge out, each individual one of you, even the little tiny ones there, you're like, what, you're about 14. You can speak to a little 5-year-old in your family. See how they're doing, yeah? So we all speak to an individual young person and see how they are doing. And we continue to do that, because that's how you build rapport and you connect with the young people who they say that we cannot connect with on the news, media, etc.
Thank you, brother.
Do you take up the challenge? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello. Can I say something on that?
Here first. Who's got the
Yo,
mic?
no, I've been waiting, you know.
Who's got the mic?
So the mic's here. I've been waiting still. I did the outburst at the beginning. I apologise if anyone thought I was being disrespectful in the meeting. But we need to be clear with what we're saying. And people need to quell their egos also. Because when somebody says something that strokes somebody else's ego, they feel like they need to respond to that part instead of actually responding to what's been said. We've gone around a whole meeting. I've been here. I got here 15 minutes late. We've offered solutions, but we're not acting on those solutions. It's from Brother Vincent spoke. He offered one of the best solutions. And it's about expanding upon those solutions. And it's come around again to when the sister at the panel has said the same thing. That's the third time the same solution has been offered. Where is the action that we're going to take on a solution? Because that's what we're here for. Solutions, planning, then action. Sure. Without action, we have only what? Rhetoric. That's got us here in the first place. We need to stop talking without the action. Sure. That's what we're here. We need to do so. So no. I haven't even finished.
No,
the solutions.
Allow us to have a conversation.
So the solution that primarily, which has gone around, and it's actually 2 solutions in one.
Okay.
The community organizations. Every member of a community organization in this building today should be staying here another hour to organize ourselves for our community. Every member of the community that's not a member of an organization, they need to join an organization that actually benefits them.
Who's actually here as a part of an organization? Can I see your hands? Are you willing to stay behind for an extra hour?
Thank you.
Okay, well that's...
Thank you. And then we can then organize for our community.
Right.
All right, that's number 1. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Go ahead with number 2.
Number 2, every person who's not a member of an organisation, seek an organisation out in your area and support that organisation.
Let me say
understand?
This. Thank you,
that
brother.
is a fact today. Let us grow together and then we'll go somewhere together.
Absolutely, thank you. Who is not a part of an organisation? Can I see your hands? Can you confirm today that you're going to be a part of something that is solution orientated and based? Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So, well, your 2 points have been dealt with.
Sorry, that didn't add up. That didn't add up. You asked.
Who's speaking now?
I'm speaking right here, brother. Okay. You just asked who's part of an organisation. I saw some hands go up.
Right.
Then you said who's not part, and
yeah, you're right.
It didn't add up.
Yeah, you're right.
So can you do it again? Because that didn't. Maybe people didn't hear.
Who is a part of an organisation? Can I see your hands? That's about 15% of the room. Those who are not a part of an organisation, can I see the other 85% of the hands?
Don't know.
As
It's
brother
like,
said, it still doesn't
if we're shy to put up our hands to say we want to be part of an organisation, why did we come out of houses? I don't get it. I'm confused. See, this is the thing. I want to know, like, who brought a young person with them? A young person that actually is being affected by the things going on. Not your best child and the one that always sits and is quiet. Who brought a child with them, or a youth? Who invited a youth? So we're talking at people. We're talking at a whole section of people that we want to save them. But it's only because ITN told you that you want to save them. Like, what's the big pandemic? Does anybody know the number of teens that were actually stabbed? What is the big pandemic? Do you know it was 20? Do we know it was 20, or do people have 55 in their head? Who's done their own research? Caught up in a storm, caught up in a whirlwind, yet again. They put a monkey on the top. Let's all go crazy. Dove has done an advert where a black woman's turned into a white woman. Let's go crazy. Reactionary. Every step of the way. Libya, reactionary. Every step of the way. What is proactive about what we're doing right now? I heard someone saying, what's the point of leaving from Brixton to go to Tottenham? Okay, look, this is what we do. We save everyone in Brixton. Yeah, we save all the youths in Brixton, and they're all good now. The boys in Tottenham are coming over to take over anything that's in Brixton now, because there's no warriors. You're not trying to train warriors to stop being warriors. You need to just redirect the energy. What we're talking about don't make sense. How are you going to say, it don't matter what's going on in Tottenham? How does that matter? When we went to Tottenham, everybody in Tottenham knew people from Brixton, and vice versa. Somebody said it. Someone said, what's the point of fixing something? And I feel like there's little jabs going on. Yeah. Someone else said, we're sick of marching.
So, brother.
Someone said they're sick of marching, and we don't know. I don't know anyone that done any marches recently. Yeah, there was an outreach thing that went on with the youths that are affected. The community called out the community, and we went to the community and spoke to the community, and the community spoke to us. There was no marching. There was no marching. So if you weren't part of that, then you weren't part of nothing. There was no. Where was we marching? These are young people. The oldest person involved in organising it was what, 35. Yeah? And the elders just want to tell us about where Miss Gross got shot, and this is how the riot started, and blah blah blah, and back in my days, and blah blah blah. So, and you are totally off the page. You're off the page.
Thanks for that. Thank you, brother.
No. See, no. You can't keep doing that. Thank you, brother. You can't keep doing. There's too much of that. Thank you, brother thing. No disrespect, my brother. Yeah. There's a lot of that going on. The right people that are speaking are getting shut down. Yeah. I want to ask personally, who are we here for? Who are we here for? Is it all the youth, or is it a certain set of youth?
All the youth.
Let's who? It should be all the youth, but let's be real. Is it all the youth that's involved right now?
But
no,
brother,
I'm not saying you.
Brother, could you yield for us, brother? We put you on the panel.
I hear that, man. I hear that.
The panel.
I'm not trying to disrespect the panel, but what I'm saying is, my brother over there said the right word. It's rhetoric. There's rhetoric going on, yeah. Like, that's how I see it. I'm not here on the panel, like, I'm not a spokesman for nobody. I'm not a perfect, but what I'm saying is, we need to come back down to reality, You lot have been in organizations for 20, 25 years, blah, 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 blah. You are not in touch with what is going on. I'm telling you that right now. You're not in touch.
Brother,
you're not in touch.
Brother, we appreciate the perspective.
Right, cool, man, cool.
Brother, you've had your hand up a long time. So brother, with us voting on steps forward, those of you who are members of organizations, we're going to conclude here at 8, and we're going to hold back as discussed. I'm going to take brother's question, I'm going to take Dean, I'm going to take sister, and then I'm going to come to sister. Yes? In that order, please.
Thank you.
But I'm going to caution everybody, can you please restrict your remarks? Because as brother said, there are different platforms for different conversations.
Yeah.
We can't have everybody give a mini speech. It's not going to work. If we can come back and spend a whole day at your leisure and we all just give vent to our frustrations. But that has to be set like that. We need to set aside 10 hours for that. There's 2 hours been set aside here. So let's focus on why we're here. And we have this building. We haven't charged anybody to come in here today, even though the building's costing us money to keep open. So if you want to do something positive for the community, all you have to do is respectfully put it on the table. So the main thing that must be, honored and appreciated is that, yes, we did call this meeting here today. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan called this meeting here today. And he's in St. Kitts as we speak. So he's very concerned about what's happening in the United Kingdom.
But then let the people from the United Kingdom speak then.
Right. So,
I don't want to hear about...
So let's brother, please.
First of all, always respect the chair. Always. I know passions are high, but always. All right, the point is, 2 things I wanted to. First of all, the panel's take on music. The influence of music, YouTube videos.
Music reflects life.
Hold on, let me talk.
Brother, life needs to change.
Please.
Music reflects life.
Brother, please.
Let's move on from music.
Brother, please. Please.
You want to save the youths, yeah? You don't want to save the youths. You have to save the youth. We have to stop talking about the same things. It's not music.
Brother, the meeting's going to get shut down. Can we just have some respect, please?
I don't mind. I'm going to go back into the roads and talk to the youth. I'm going to go back to where it's happening.
Let's go together.
Let's go now then, because why are we in the room? Let's go into the community, my brother. Come on, man. Come on.
All right.
So is that actual question, brother? Hold on a minute. Hold on. Brother.
The second point is more important.
And let's get that done.
Okay. The second point is more important.
Yeah, okay.
My sister here, her son was stabbed in Croydon a couple of months ago. Okay. No, it's not Tarek, son. I'm not gonna. You're right. Her son. All right. Just listen for a minute, please. Okay. And can you just listen for a minute? Yeah. Thank you. Her son was stabbed in Croydon a couple of months ago. Okay. Now she chose with her partner to send him away to Barbados to think about his situation. There was a lot of guys after him. He got caught up in things. He got caught up in the music. They were doing some, sometimes they say things, oh, I'm leaving home, good as apple pie. But yet when they get with their friends, there's another scenario. The point is, right, he's recovering now. Now, we cannot dismiss the influence of music and what people are hearing. Music is just not music. It's got to be talked about. There's a lot of elephants in the room. Let's be frank about it. It does have an influence.
I agree with you, but I'm not saying it doesn't.
All right, but let's just pull it back to the chair, and then we'll take it from there.
Does he listen to music? Thank you. You've asked. I don't know. Let the panel that know about music answer your question. Then.
And we will defer to you, brother. So, Dean, you had a point.
First thing, family. Everybody is African. Ashe! Ashe! Ashe, yo! Right. There's a reason I understand in the corner. Kingman. Can I be eye contact? Kingman. You see there's silverback gorillas and there's chimpanzees. Right up on the silverback. There's a reason I'm saying this to you. Everybody's role in the village is valuable. But we have not recognized every role in the village, which is why we are not connecting the dots. Someone wanna look up and see spot and see a Pegasus to connect it. So first of all, as Africans, just breathe. This brother's chest is exploding. I know why. Because he knows the answers to the part on the road. These are the 4 elements of problem. First element is the government shut down all youth provision through Tony Blair. First quadrant of the square. Second quadrant, parenting is failing because we have evolved as parents. It's not working. We need to address it. Third quadrant, education by Europeans has failed. Because it was not designed for us. No problem. The fourth quadrant are the pedophiles in our community who will call themselves organized criminals, recruiting our babies and turning them into machines, putting batteries on their backs. Now, every single part of the matrix of solutions is in this room. From the soldiers, grassroots, you have a gang line. When they call a gang line, you have those who go in for intervention. And I see them. That's not every man's role. Nobody ain't going to burst none of them on chest. Secondly, you need to have a referral for those youths who are on the periphery, which to be fair is 90% of them. That 35% solution. That 90% where G-Circle are going out and seeing on the road every day are attracted to something else. Education comes from us, the entrepreneurial part. My partner Nana is in it from Access UK, which is access to employment, which is why we partnered. Now I'm going to finish in 120 seconds. Those elements require different roles. Everybody is in here to execute every last one of them. What we want to do for the umbrella, in order to go in front of our community, in order to go in front of financiers, is organize 1, 2, 3, 4 steps and clarity. You are a fundraiser. We're going to swap numbers. We shot an initiative called the Nancy Village Trust to purchase our own buildings. There is a reason it is not live, because the trustees are in this room. Now we no longer talk about trust. So if you have 2 sets of treasurers, 2 sets of secretary, you have it. And then we can start filling the coffers. Anybody who wants to talk about being a treasurer, come afterwards to purchase our own buildings. We have an educational curriculum. Now we build on it. We don't need to wait until anything is perfect. Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 9, Windows 10. Delivery. We have Windows 7. You see, as your brother said, the tape tomorrow, next week. And all of those who are there fall in line. Now, Twilight Bay, who isn't here tonight, has the policies, procedures, and protocols to train formally those going into gang intervention. So as soldiers have their own remit, when you have policies, procedures, and protocols, then they have a sensitivity to go into the community, and we're not replacing the police. Clarity.
Thanks,
so
Steve.
everybody is in here.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother. Much appreciated. Thank you. Sister Cheryl. Sister Cheryl, and I'm coming to you, sister.
Can I just give
Sister, I'm coming to you.
some
After
people
Cheryl.
also a reminder? Because before our children get to that age, a lot of our young people that we see on the roads, when I go into schools, and I do this full time, you know, I left my business to do the Black Child Agenda 5 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, when I'm reading through piles and piles of paperwork, when I'm trying to actually go in and fight off social services who are trying to take people's children out of their homes because they gave them a smack on the bum or discipline them or whatever it may be. The weapons that are used against you as parents, if it hasn't happened yet, trust me, it's coming. Because my phone don't stop. And this is not just single mothers, which people seem to think is the case. This is 2-parent households. This is children in private school. This is a lot of the way. Now, the reason why I keep going back to the schools, because before our children enter that system, they're fine. They're doing well. They're okay. As soon as they enter this system, you see the destruction of the mindset, their self-confidence, how they feel about themselves, and the anger starts coming out. Who knows about what the SIMS system is in their child's school? When you go back, please get a data request and ask for the SIMS file for your child. You'll be actually quite shocked as to what is in there. They actually do They actually look at what your child is doing from the age of 5 right the way up until the age of 16 to decipher if they're going to be criminals or not. They look at your family, who's been to prison, who's been in contact with the police, who's been in contact with social services. So when I say this is not by accident, it is a clear and structured design that has been going on, very, very well planned for hundreds of years. This isn't just happening yesterday for today. The fact that our children are out there killing each other for less than nothing is no accident. It is by clear design. Because you know the police state, Minister Farrakhan has already spoken about the police state that we will be begging for very soon, because we've lost control of our own communities, our own babies. Now, I say that to say this. With regard, if we're not watching very carefully what's going on with our children in the education system as a priority, and also supporting our parents, because I have women phoning me at 8, 9 o'clock at night. My friends will tell you, they're always like, don't you have no time for yourself? And as soon as they hear, is this Cheryl? Yes. Is this Cheryl Finnick? Yes. They burst into tears. Literally, women are crumbling. So, sister who put out your WhatsApp messages, I did the same thing last year, but because of my workload, I couldn't keep up with it. It's too much. So I'm glad that you're doing it. I work with 12 lawyers, and we not only do exclusions, we do family, we do crime, and by the way, legal aid for criminal law will also be going as well by about September this year. So be mindful of that. So unless we take this thing really seriously and stop yabbering and take our money out of our pockets and support the organizations that are there, because we need the money. I run on advertising. How I make my revenue that actually funds my household is I have a business mindset. So that's where that comes in to fund the Black Child Agenda. I've had a GoFundMe page for 2 years. I've got less than £2,000 in that GoFundMe. But yet I've helped thousands, hundreds of parents.
Thanks, Cheryl.
So that gives you an idea of our mindset.
Thank you. So as I said earlier, we're going to all stay behind. And we're going to look at the various budgets and see what we can do to pool our resources. Sister's had her hand up.
Hiya. I'm a bit inexperienced in comparison to some of the women that I've spoken to today, i.e. Cheryl. This has been going on for a long time, but I'm 28 years of age and I work in PRUs, therapeutic PRUs, and schools. The education system has failed our children. I am currently working in a mainstream school, which I'm resigning from because I don't agree with the system. There are APs. Those that don't know what AP is alternative provisions that are available for our children because they don't learn in the norm. Especially black kids, they've got a way of learning. They've got focus, which is money. They want it now. They want it now. So we need to give it to them now so they can do what they want to do. Whether that be music, whether that be sports, whether that be some kind of entrepreneurial businesses that they want to set up. Sadiq Khan has just last week said that he's going to give 43 million to young people. We need to get that money. We need to get our professionals in our community because we've got journalists, we've got solicitors, lawyers, we've got all these people to get that funding. I understand we can raise it ourselves, but some families are in poverty. They're in the benefit system and they can't get out. They're trapped. There's parents that are trapped in the benefit system, and that's why their children are failing. So we need to get that money as well as working together as a community. I'm coming from a younger perspective and we need to listen to them. There's no more that we can tell these youths what to do. You can't tell them what to do. They're ignorant, they're on a don't care attitude, they don't even listen to the elders no more. The kids are, the elders in the States are chatting to the youngers and they're telling the elders to go about their business. They're not listening to the elders, so we need to listen to them.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Brother, you had your hand up also.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Junior. I've been working with young people for a long time. My solution is community engagement. Proud of you, bro. Proud of you, bro. We need to get out in the community, grab up our youths, and just listen, give them the talk. We need to do that. We need to do that.
Real talk.
Yeah? When I was young, I got stabbed in my face, I got stabbed in my back, a lot of surgery. I didn't go back home. I wanted to go back to the youth club where there was an older there that I trusted. Yeah? our young people are spiritually disengaged.
Come on, man.
They're spiritually disengaged. So my belief is community engagement. After today, we all need to come together and get out on the roads like these men are doing. Grab up our youths them and give them the real talk. You get me? We've got no black schools. We're the only race of people that has no schools, like a school. You know what I'm saying? No wonder our education is so low. Like, we got no schools. We can't teach.
You know, academically, our children are actually better.
Yeah, A-star in English. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, but
Go ahead.
My solution
Let's
is
let the brother talk,
My solution is community safeguarding team. We go out into our community where they are, and listen. I'll grab up my youths then. You know.
Sure.
We grab up our youths. What are the parents doing? If you're seeing your youth looking like a wolf, how are you allowing them to go out the yard like that? You know what I'm saying? That's my thing.
Thank you, brother. Sister, sorry. Maria.
Good evening, everybody. I've listened to what everybody else has to say, and I agree with everything and everybody. But like that gentleman was saying that he had to fly his son out to Barbados, I believe that as a community, we should have our own airline by now. I was in the aviation business when I was very, very young, yeah? Where it's coming, but it's not in London, it's in Jamaica, yeah? But we need one from London, yeah? I was in the aviation. I don't want to say much about my life, but I was in the aviation, very young age. I was powerful at that stage, but I got taunted by the media. I was all over the newspapers, my company was put down, shut down by somebody that I don't even know. I should have been as big as Thomas Cook's today. But I think together as a society, if we had a plane, we could fly these bad boys out. We could put them into a training camp. We can do what we want. Because once we're here in London, we're under authority. We are under the government. No matter how many schools we build, we need schools. I'm not saying we don't need schools. The children might still turn out bad. Yeah? But if we put a pot of money, instead of paying British Airways to fly to Jamaica, why don't we pay ourselves? If we need cargo to come back, why don't we bring it back ourselves? We've got farmers out there. So basically, I said we need to invest in bigger things.
Thank you. My elder sister. Thank you, Brett. My sister here, please. No, don't give up. Don't give up. I didn't see you. You just were pointed out to me, sister.
Two things I think we need to know. And everybody I ask,
can we have...
they don't seem to know. I'm 75 and I live over the road there since 1979, right over Loughborough Estate. And I worked at the youth club from 1993 to 2008 when I retired. And I still live there. And I've been trying all these years to find out how the tax system works, because we know it's not working for us. They take everything from us and keep it. We don't get it back. You for 40 years and your pension is measly. I thought I would have been able to do things for the youth when I finish working, but I can't. They don't give us a place in the estate to assemble, so we don't have a hall. That is all I need to do all the things I would do with the youths. I know them already, and they still, Mommy, you all right? Or just don't work here anymore, but you're still cussing us. Because I still go and say, you still around the place floating? What you doing with your life?
Yes,
and things like that.
That's what we need.
And I don't know how many nurseries we have. You don't wait until they're school age before you have them in school. You want to not give them anywhere near anybody else beside your people who you know and you want. Otherwise, if you wait till they go to school, it's a bit late in my view. I didn't send my 2 boys to school because what I saw was coming with the Education Reform Act. I didn't like it. I sent my daughter out from age 11. When I sent her to Jamaica, they give me every excuse why they couldn't take her. I went on a youth service trip to Ghana and I thought, here you come. And I sent her she spent her 11th birthday there. And I sent the 2 boys after her not having sent them to school here until one went to year 6 and the other one went to year 3 because he wouldn't stay home after the other one went. And when I saw they went, not they, but the bigger one went knowing Cartesian coordinates, simultaneous equation, sets, and whatever, and then the school come telling me rubbish, and they said that the 50th best in the country. It wasn't good enough for me.
So can I pose a question to you before I go to anybody
nursery
else?
And we want to know the task.
Yeah, before you leave, give the mic back to her. Before you leave, now we're meeting in this place discussing this very important issue regarding our young people and us as parents. Now, what's going on around us globally is the start of possible World War III. Yes? Now that's the bigger picture of what's happening in the country that we're in.
I see.
Now, what do you recommend in regards to, as one of our elders who have lived in this country, you've seen it, you've heard it, you've done it. And none of us are originally from here. Now, would you recommend that most of us start making provisions to take ourselves and our children out of this country for the next 3 to 5 years? Or should we spend another 30 years trying to change England? Should we? No. I want so based upon what you said, because your solution to the crisis amongst our young people was you sent your young people out the country. And it worked. What do you recommend for the rest of us?
It might have been an easy option. I still worked in the schools and I was a governor. But when I see how, if you really open your mouth, I mean, I was thinking of John Loughborough for my children. And then what did they do to John Loughborough?
They closed it
And
down.
there are lots of other schools.
Sure.
And I hear of the Guyanese lady who started something, Lewisham or somewhere there, and they come down and are like a ton of bricks. I look at the Muslim people, the Asian ones, who have their school, and I listen to Radio 4 and all the things they have to say about the school and what they do to them.
Okay.
And I thought, you know what?
Thank you, sis.
I'm not sure if we do anything here, unless we have somebody up there in the height of politics.
Yeah. Thank you.
To be able to tell us what we do to
Hold on.
keep anything we build, because
Thank you.
we build a lot of things right here.
Sure.
But
So
in
you're
the end,
saying
we don't
stay
see
and
them.
try and turn it around. All right, thank you.
We can't send them all.
I don't
home.
mean to hurry
we
you,
can
but it's only
try.
because we're 10 minutes
But
over
we
our
should
time.
We should have somewhere that if we
Thank
need
you.
to send them,
Appreciate
we send
you.
them. Because if we didn't, I don't think
Sure.
I would be here about my grandson.
Thank you.
because he went off the rail,
Mhm.
and because of how I was reared,
Sure.
and I put the hand in the jugular,
Sure.
he was ready to tell his colleagues, my grandmother tried to strangle me.
Sure.
So I told his mom when his dad says he's coming back, I said this time it will be adult to adult and not
Sure.
adult to what you call it,
Sure.
child abuse,
Sure.
anything.
Sure.
So
Thank
I'll
you,
go
sis.
from box if I have to kill you.
Thank you. So I've got to just take 3 more points, and then we're going to conclude, and then we're going to, I'm going to come to you, Fire. I just got to address brother's been on the front here, and I promised Vincent I'll give him a word, and sister and brother, and then I'm going to come to you. Yeah, if you don't mind. So, brother, please. But everybody, if you can restrict your comments to no more than 2 minutes, please. Thank you. Let me recognize Brother Blacker Dread. Where is he? Give him a big round of applause. Thanks for the acknowledgement, brother. And we want you to say something before we leave, all right? Yes, brother. So please, sir.
Hi, my name is Kevin Okoroji. I've listened to everything that people have been saying today, and I think in terms of solutions, the biggest solution and the only solution is that we need to be self-sufficient. We need to be self-employed, and we basically just need to have it in our heads that we're going to earn our own money and take care of each other. You know, that's basically it. Because if we're doing that, then, and all these kids are committing crimes for money, then basically we can offer them jobs, apprenticeships, you know, because we're doing stuff ourselves already. And then within that, we can give them whatever talk that we need to give them in order to reprogram them and turn their lives around. But for a lot of us in here, it may be like too much of a big step, too much of a big sacrifice. You know, you don't want to give up your job that you've already got, or you see, like, we have to be totally self-sufficient.
Appreciate it. Thank you. How old is your son?
He's 6.
He's 6, and we thank you for bringing him out today, bro.
No doubt.
Thank you so much. I'm going to come to you. Yeah, brother's had his hand up and he's giving me that look, so I'm going to yield. As a young brother, we want to prioritize. Go ahead, sir.
So, hi everyone. I'm 19 years old.
Let's give brother some respect and hear what he's got to say, please.
In the last 6 months, I've had one friend murdered by knife crime, and another friend's in hospital at the moment in critical condition from being stabbed. So I know that it affects me directly. But I would also want to say that I feel that the issue that we are solving in terms of knife crime is just, to me, a branch on a much bigger tree in the issue of self-hatred in the African community. Because I believe that until we learn to love ourselves as African people and come together as African people, there can be no progress. That being said, Malcolm X said in the 1960s, who taught you to hate yourself? And if you hate Africa, then you're going to hate yourself. So we need to deal with the self-hatred. Dr. Amos Wilson has written a book, Black on Black Violence, Self-Destruction in Response to White Global Domination. This book deals with the psychology behind why we're killing ourselves, and the issue of killing ourselves is because we hate ourselves, and we hate a lot about Africa. So we need to get to that. And John Henrik Clarke said, to solve the solution, you must look in the mirror and love what you see. So if we are to move forward, we must learn to love ourselves as a people.
I gotta go around
we must deal with Pan-Africanism. I've got a book here, Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. If your child reaches the age of 16 and they've not heard of Marcus Garvey, I personally feel that you've made an error, because Europeans don't allow their children to reach 16. They don't know William Shakespeare. They don't know what's it called? Yeah, and dealing with Marcus Garvey said the greatest weapon used against our people is disorganization. Get organized. Join, and remember, everybody here is part of the UNIA. All you need to do is activate your membership. That's what Marcus Garvey said. He said we are all part of the UNIA, whether you've activated your membership or not. And the same is with the Nation of Islam. Elijah Muhammad said everybody is part of the Nation of Islam. You just need to become active in the Nation of Islam. So come, get organized. And in terms of jobs, we need to employ ourselves. I'm currently looking for a job, but I'm saying to you,
man,
please,
you got a job, brother.
Reach out to
You are so employed.
Provide us with opportunities, provide us with jobs so that we can come off the streets, come off what we're doing, and work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. In truth, if I'm perfectly honest with you, I want to end on a high like that. That's a good note to end on, because in truth, he encapsulated everything that we're feeling and that we desire to achieve. And when you hear wisdom coming out the mouth of babes, then and this meeting was called for guidance for our young people. And there's nothing better than young people bringing wisdom to young people. It don't get no better than that. And brother has a rounded knowledge of our history, which is so important. So again, a big recognition for brother, because he spoke into all of our hearts. Very measured, much appreciated, brother. But I promised Vincent a word, and I want to hear from Sister, and I'm going to hear from Black Dread, and then we're going to, and Respect. In fact, before I go to anybody else, I'm going to hear from Respect first, because as a panel member, he was out taking care of our business. So we thank him for coming. Let's give him a big round of applause and welcome.
Enough love, family. I'm extremely tired because we've been out for like at least 2 weeks. I mean, we haven't been marching. We've been visiting families of youth who want to go ride out. We've been doing conflict resolution. If it ain't that, we've been doing media. And I'm extremely like shattered. Like, we're gonna have to stop doing the marches for a little while, recoup and organize. Like, Arks Feline, I was screaming at the man them today in the WhatsApp group, just leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? Because everything's getting a bit overwhelming. I want to keep it short, yeah? So there's no one solution, yeah? Big up the brother for his solution, yeah? Big up, yeah? There's no one solution to this thing, yeah? But like, one of the biggest solutions that we can have right now, yeah, is like listening, innit? And this is something we don't do a lot of, family, I can't lie. We don't listen, innit? And when I'm saying listen, yeah, we have to listen to the people that are actually living the lifestyle. Like, when I come in, I heard someone say, music's not the problem, yeah? Now, I'm going to ask you lot a question, yeah? Because that's what I'm saying. We think it's the problem. But the reason why we think it's the problem is because we've never been to the end. We're standing from here saying it's the problem. Yeah, we went to the end and we met 16-year-old boys who cannot walk to the other side. And if they walk to the other side, they risk getting stabbed. So if you're living in a war zone like that, what else are you going to spit about but splash, splash? Yeah? So my thing is, yeah, our community loves to point at the youth in the estates. Who marches down to the States and actually tries to change the conditions? Because we are products of our environment. Yeah? We are all products of our environment. Yeah? So one of the main things in the conscious community that I feel like is a weakness is the division. We've got our own postcode wars going on with the elders. Let's not act like it's not happening. Yeah? There's a postcode going on. There's a postcode war going on amongst the elders. But as soon as and this ain't all elders, please elders know that I know there's real ones and there's you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about all the elders when I'm talking, yeah? Same way I'm not talking about all the youngers. But I'm saying in elder organizations. Yeah? Trust me. In the elder organizations, yeah, like I personally feel like there should have been a cohesion a long time ago, yeah. Like, and this ain't a criticism, because my belief is the only people that can deal with the streets is people that come from the streets, yeah. Like, if you haven't come from it, how can you come with solutions? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, even when we go to the end and we speak, I'm like the average elders are not getting through to the bad youths. We got to even bring out man that are even more deep in it than Respect to really talk to them ones and bring them forward. You understand? So that's some of the stuff that we need to be doing. I'm not really, as soon as we started doing this gang thing, like, we got a lot of people coming with the F word. We call it the F word. Funding, yeah? Funding. We don't want to hit, fam, I've done 9 years and I ain't taking not one penny off no one, fam. So my thing is, I'm not waiting for no Babylonian funding, yeah? I'm not saying at a point, yeah, when we've established ourselves, yeah, and we've established our settings, that we wouldn't work with organizations who might be trying to get funding. But the minute we take funding from Babylon, it's like they can control and dictate what we're doing, innit? Yeah? So my thing is, if we haven't got, and this ain't for today, yeah, but this is something for us to just think about. If we haven't got 300 people in our community that want to see an end to the violence, then there's no point us having this conversation. Now, if 300 people put £20 aside for 5 months, yeah, 300 people, £20 aside for 5 months, that's 30 grand there. Then we can go and do our own programs, take the youths out to places, like, we got a budget. Like, it's simple stuff, family. Like, I'm like, I don't like doing this talking thing. That's why you haven't seen me on any panels. The only reason why I'm here talking now is because there's action that I've done that I can talk to the people about. I'm fed up of talking to the youth. Fed up of talking about the youths. We've been going to the estates, we've been linking up with generals. And when I say generals, I'm talking generals. Yeah, and when we go to the estates, we've been greeted with love. You understand? And that's where it's gonna start. Because once we link up with the different generals from the different ends, yeah, and we actually find out what the situations are. We don't know what we're in this room. Like, you don't even know what the situations are. You don't know which ones have got beef because of a death, or which ones have got beef because someone bought someone in a rave. So how are we going to find solutions? We have to go to the community, family. We have to be reaching out and we have to be investing. Now, my solution is, yeah, that after a while we start taking all of the 12-year-olds on the estates, the 11-year-olds, the 10-year-olds, and we start moving them from estate to estate, and we start mixing them up, and we start doing projects with them, training projects, football projects, and over a little while, yeah. if we as a community was to come together and run that project for 10 years solid, yeah, in every estate family, then in 10 years those 12-year-olds would be 22-year-olds, and everyone under them would have adopted their mindset of not wanting to kill each other. Like these are the things that I feel like we've learned. So when I'm saying music, yeah, sorry to go on, family, yeah. But when I'm saying music's not the problem, yeah. When I'm saying music, when I talk about music, I blame myself, family, yeah, and I also blame. I blame myself, family, because I'm an artist, you get me? And the youths them, a lot of them rapping that, they don't know much better. Like when I link up with my brother Feisty, and my brother Feisty comes around my yard, I can't expect him to rap about Marcus Garvey, because all he's doing is jogging and finessing on the roads trying to provide for his family. So how's he going to tell me about Marcus Garvey in the booth? Yeah? It's only me being around my brother, yeah? Me being around my brothers after a while and actually reasoning with my brothers, you're going to hear a little something in the tune. We done a thing with Access UK. I was on a panel with Young Spray, AM and Skengdo, some of the big drillers. Access UK put the event on. And in that event, we highlighted to them about Mansa Musa. Yeah? We enlightened them about Mansa Musa. The next couple months, they made a song called Mansa Musa Family. So what I'm saying is, yeah, only we can reach out and actually influence them. But we can't, but when we're here like, them youths, them drillers, them when you talk to them, they've already turned off. How are you going to be effective? That's not alchemy, family. We've got to try to be as effective as possible. And I'd like so we need to be going to the ends and listening. I don't like to talk unless I'm talking about the solutions. And one last thing, we've been telling them too much, family. Yeah, the conscious community has been telling the ghetto youths too much. The only message that we should have for them, yeah, I'm talking the ones in there, is we don't need you killing each other. Right. That's the only message. But on top of that message, we want to come with don't kill each other, and then on top of that, we want to say don't hustle and make money. Yeah, now we know the system's broken, just like the education system. So in every community, when there's poverty, you're gonna have crime. It's simple. It's a simple math. They haven't got jobs for everyone. There's uni students that can't get jobs. So man, them coming out of jail, it's extremely difficult. So wherever you have, so what I'm saying is, after we told them about the violence, we want to tell them about the hustling. Yeah. Then we want to tell them about using the word nigger. Then we want to tell them about the music they listen to. Then we want to tell them about the food they're eating. Like it's sorry. Can I just get that? Sure. Just 2 minutes. Because we are the voice of the youth, and we have been out there speaking to the people that we're talking about. Like we have spent time. So I just want to just get this out, just so the people can know. You know what I'm saying? We've just been giving them a bit too much. You understand? Like, let's deal with the killing. Let's just deal with that. If we all zone in on that as a community, yeah, they're gonna hear us. But if we put too much on their plate, they're just gonna throw away the plate, family. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because okay, I've got to conclude. So, the King's Peace Treaty. That's a big conclusion, and I've been speaking to the brother about getting a gang treaty as well that can actually go. My brother Israel, put up your hand, please. My brother who created the King's Peace Treaty, yeah. So that's a powerful piece of document that if we give it to the 12-year-olds and down that we're mixing up, yeah, that they'll get a sense of brotherhood and a sense of royalty, that they wouldn't be so inclined to want to fight each other. And I also want us to do a gang treaty for the older youths that are more involved, that won't really tune into the consciousness, but get the OGs like Stephen Graham. Stephen Graham's another person who will be very effective. Can he come from the thing? You understand? Jedi come from the thing. Man has sat behind doors for a long time, so man can relate to the man them. So the King's Peace Treaty, he's got actually an event on Monday at 7 o'clock at the Bernie Grant Centre. The whole gang's going to be there, Dean Okai, and we're going to be talking about more solutions and actually filling you in on what we've actually found out on the roads and exactly what we can do. One of the main things I know that we want to be doing is we want to be training up our youth. You understand? You want to be. They need to be trained for self-defense. The ones that are going through the school and the ones that are on the roads. The reason why the ones that are on the roads are going to learn a sense of discipline. Yeah, and a sense of discipline that they're not learning right now. Yeah, that's what martial arts teaches. And then on the other one, the ones who go through the school and the education system that might not get the toughness that we get on the roads, they're going to get a sense of courage. Yeah, so that's one. That's the next solution. Thanks for your time. Thank you.
So this will be the last speaker because we're going to respect time, because we did say 6 till 8 and now we're at 8:30. Okay, I don't want to impose anything on anybody.
Yeah, thank you,
brother.
Minister Akeem.
You're welcome.
Well, we come up against another point now, and when we're getting to this solution, people, parents, friends who are actually still active
with guns, drugs, robbery, cannot be a part of our solution. Because once the feds them know this, they will break us up before we even start. So any members who want to be joining this solution, they cannot be known active to any crime at all. I've been inside for a year in 1999. I've come out 2000. So I've been clean for 19 years. No Fed can't look on me and say I'm playing with guns or I'm selling drugs. My name is not ringing in the station for 19 years, right? Anybody who's taking part, you cannot be known activists in any form of crime, because before we even start, we are finished.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. So with that, brothers and sisters, thank you for a wonderful evening. And what we're going to do is just ask all of the panel members to just take a minute, please. Panel members, if we can just take a minute and just give closing statements, please, and then we can conclude. And those who are parts of members of organizations who wants to stay behind, please hold your seat, and we'll have another conversation for another hour. So let me start with you, Sister Cheryl. But we're moving by the clock now for this last minute. Yeah? Yeah?
Start with me.
Yeah, you don't mind.
No, I'm
Okay.
that's very kind of you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
As a closing statement, what I would like to say, as Brother Raspet and everyone on the panel has actually said, get involved with the organisations that are out there. Don't be afraid, because I've heard a lot of people talking about we don't know where the money's gone, this, that and the other about money. I'll tell you where the Black Child of Money goes when you do GoFundMe. It goes to me. It goes in my petrol tank when I have to drive to Kent from Northwest London. So I'm being real. It's just a fact, because I don't get paid by government and I'm not taking their money. So get involved with the organisations that are there. If there's nothing out there near where you live, set something up. Because even if you've got 10 children, it's better than nothing at all. Just do something different, because all of us know that in our local area, there's young people that would rather be somewhere than on the road. Right. They'd rather be doing something than be on the road. Find out about your child's school, because that's one of my main passions. This is where they destroy our children in the first place, is in the education system. Get your child's school file. Make sure you attend all the meetings. Never go to a meeting by yourself. If anything, call the Black Child Agenda, because that's what we do. We shut down. I've never lost a case and don't plan on ever losing one. We shut them down at every single point of call. That means I'm that good or the system is blatantly failing. You make your choice.
You're that good, sis. Brother Cass.
Of course you're that. What do you mean? Of course you're that good. Just a quick thing on the music. I used to listen to NWA when I was 18, and I love that group. I love it. But I never sold no drugs. I never bust no gun. But I love that. We have to understand what Raspet was saying. When it comes to the music, it's where they're at. Yeah. So if they're going from one end to another and they're not reading certain books and they're not exposed to certain things, that's where they're at. So I wouldn't really blame the music. Just to emphasize Cheryl's point, if you're not in an organization, join one or donate to one, or get involved in an organization. And it's not all doom and gloom, like I said before. There's many things that are going out there. We just need to look.
Thank you, sis. Thank you, brother. Thank you. You done 43 seconds. That's fantastic. That's discipline. Of course. Go ahead, sis.
I respect what Raspet's saying, but some people are actually out here putting things with the youths that are involved in gangs, in postcodes, in areas already. Like Towsall, there was something yesterday for the boys that are involved in the roads. It was an event where all the boys that are involved in the roads, not the boys that can't, every boy was different from different areas. No one fretted. We had an older from Towsall that patrolled the strip. We had everybody come together. So I think it's a lot of people that are streetwise need to come together and take control of the road, because it starts from the roads. So we need to be on the roads. We don't need to be in halls and seminars doing workshops. We need to be out here at night time, daytime, whatever.
Thank you. Thank you, sis.
Yes, beloved family. Are you going to take on the challenge from Mundane Monday and connect with a young person and have a real conversation with being judgmental and listening to them. Can you take that on? That's a practical solution for you. You're looking at us for you. The second thing is, right, we have the warrior caste and the negotiation and the statesman, right? So, beloved kings to my left here, right? Keep in mind, when I was your age, I was like you. Do you know Brother Pablo is right here? Okay, when he was your age, he was like you. Right? Now we are negotiating on a higher ground. So we need to talk. Because you are the warriors and we are the statesmen. The statesmen. Let me get my words right. You with me? So there needs to be an interconnection, or we'll just shake hands and touch each other and leave. Alright? But you're doing real work, and we was in the trenches once just like you. But we have the knowledge now how to navigate the system that could assist you in what you're doing right on road right now. So I suggest we exchange numbers. That's a solution.
Thanks, brother.
All right, thank you.
Great discipline. 58 seconds. Great discipline. Thank you. Brother Pablo.
Brother's timing us over there.
I have to, brother. This is Black Parliament here.
And you pressed it as well. You're on 6 seconds. All right,
start you again.
I'm going to... All right, thank you. We know I'm going to be economical because quite simply, I want to get to the next stage.
Sure.
And the next stage is the organisations to come together and do what we have to do.
Yeah,
so I'm going to be really quick. We know it's systemic. We know that there's healing to take place, and we know that there's various types of interventions that have to be developed. And so with that, let's get on with it.
Excellent. Thank you, brother. Brother Stephen.
Yeah, all I'm saying, I'm there. That anybody wants to work with me, I'll work with them. And truly, the community needs to get behind the people that are there trying to help you, like, in it. And just that. I don't really have much stake. I don't like talking too much. I don't really post my stuff on Facebook, so most people don't see my stuff on Facebook. I ain't a Facebook person. I'm always Facebook to socialise, really, to have fun. I'm not really a person that promotes my stuff on Instagram neither. But if you come to my block, Cheryl will tell you, I'm from Church Road. Come to my block, South Killy. Come Stonebridge, ask about me. They know what I do in it. I put my mouth where money is. Everyone knows that. I don't play games.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you for inviting me and Brother Respect onto the panel. Anybody that knows what we've been keeping up with, guiding the new generation, if you can please get in contact. If you see us doing certain things, get in contact, bring your suggestions and stuff like that. Another thing I want to say is that we need to be really looking out for the youths. If you don't have contact with your children, like certain of us, like myself, I have a child I don't have contact with and whatnot, but I try to do the best with children that I do have contact with. Sister Simone here, her mother was a lady that fostered me when I was 13 years old. My mum was murdered, and so I can testify to the importance of having strong women and men in the youth's lives, whether they're biologically related or not. So you need to look into things like adoptions, the social, all the vulnerable kids. We really need to be putting all our time and energy into that. Thank you. I know it went 53 seconds.
Thank you, brother. No, you done 57. Thank you. So, Respect, you got the final word on the panel.
Final word. Bit of pressure. Yeah. Nah, enough love, family. What I'd say is, tell your all of your children, follow Gang Unite TV on the Instagram. Yeah. Another solution that I'm bringing forward is I'm bringing out probably one of the first ever conscious drill EPs, because they're listening to drill. You get me? That's their sound, innit? So man's hitting up that sound, that frequency, and speaking our things. So drill is like drill is the music that they're saying is to blame for all of these things, but it's just a beat. It's what you're saying on it, and what you say on it is going to be based upon your experiences. Do you know what I'm saying? So my only solution, my family, yeah, is all of us, yeah, are connected to someone in some way, shape or form that's connected to this gang life. So what we just want you to do is bring them to us, innit? You get me? Bring them to us, let us have a reasoning and see what we can do where conflict resolution